Hello, viewers, and welcome to today's episode of Disappointed Dragon. It's been a little while since I've recorded a video, and I guess it's been a little while since I uploaded one as well. But I was at Walmart today, just looking around, and I saw something really interesting in one of the aisles, combining two of my favorite things in the world. We have here the Zuru Max Retro Collection, 221 pieces. It is a combination of construction toys and retro technology. Yes, these balls here have little technological building sets, and that is the coolest thing. I thought at first that they were blind bags, but it looks like each of them shows which one it is, hopefully, because I'm very excited for this one. It is an old-looking PC, and then there is a set of 6. Unfortunately, they did not have all 6, so I just picked up a couple of them. They had all of them but one, so I guess I could have got all 5, but it didn't feel like it. Today we're going to do this one, but we have a couple of other ones that will show up from time to time, and maybe when I go back, if they have all of them, I'll pick the rest of them up. But we're going to start with the one that I thought was the most interesting, an old PC. We did have a PC like this when I was growing up, down in our basement. I believe it was stolen, actually, now that I come down to think of it, but it definitely doesn't exist any longer, and I've not seen one in a while, but I had some great times playing some games on there. I don't remember what the games were called. There was a game on the... It was an old Macintosh. I'm pretty sure this is what that's supposed to look like, was an old Macintosh. And there was this game where you played as a child who was dreaming, and he was fighting against vegetables. And I think other nightmare creatures from his imagination. Not that I can remember what the game was called. If you have any idea, let me know. Maybe I'll have editing me look up the game and see. I've definitely seen it mentioned before, but until then, pop it open. Now, another thing that interested me about this was it looked kind of small, but as I looked at the picture, I realized that this is actually quite a large set and won't actually be that tiny. But that doesn't mean I'm not interested in it. So let's see. Perfect. It is the retro computer, and it does not say anything about it in there, but I do like the design. So we'll put it together. I wonder how large this is going to be. I'm guessing about, maybe that big. We'll see. I think I'm going to stop crinkling so I can talk. I think I will make this one on camera and we'll just chat. So I don't think this one's going to be too bad, but I will stop talking long enough to open it so you don't have to hear me over the crinkling. But in between, maybe I'll say things. Like I say, I did get a few more of these. I won't spoil which ones I got, but we will go through them. I'm actually just going to clear off some of this plastic while we're at it. I don't know what the... I'm guessing this is for the mouse. Sorry about that, everyone. I punched my tripod and knocked my computer straight over. You know, I suppose I could have... I suppose I could have taken that time to open all the plastic bags so you didn't have to hear the crinkling, but I didn't. But I mean, what would you do if you couldn't hear the crinkling of Legos? Sorry, this isn't Legos. Construction toys. It is most assuredly not Lego. Although it feels pretty good. We'll see. I don't know if we've done Zuru Max before. I feel like we must have. It doesn't look half bad. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot more pieces here than I was expecting. It did say 220 pieces. So, you know, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. That is a fair amount of pieces. Now, I don't know how many people in the audience are familiar with computers of this type, but I did always like computers that looked like this. It looks like it's like an all-in-one computer with the monitor and everything is all together, which is something you get more now, I guess. Oh, no, that's not true. You have a lot of people modifying their computers and stuff. I've actually been thinking about how at one point in time portable computers were really difficult to come by that were any good, and then everyone suddenly had a laptop when I was in high school. It was such a quick turn, such a quick change from nobody having technology to everybody having technology. And then everybody I knew had a laptop after a little while. It's one of those things where the times change so quickly, especially with technology. I was always jealous of one of my friends because he had a really cool MacBook. I did get a laptop, but we couldn't afford a MacBook. MacBooks were way too expensive back then, and I feel like they still are now. I never did. I've always wanted to get one of the MacBooks. It was one of the old MacBooks. It was how to describe what it was like. It was one of the, not the first MacBooks. It was an early one. It was white plastic, very smooth. And we played a lot of Pac-Man on it. We played specifically, I think it was called Pac the Man X, was I think what they called their version of Pac-Man on it. It was very fun. I think I might have talked about it in an episode before at one point. I can't remember if I did or not, but basically it had this like sort of, how to describe what the music was like. The music wasn't that crazy, but then whenever you picked up the super pill that lets you eat the ghosts, it would play the sound bite of the song "I Feel Good," where you knew that he would, and his eyes would bulge out of his head. And I always thought that was really funny. And then you would go and eat the Pac-Man, and it had dynamic levels and all sorts of things. I didn't get to play it too much because my friend was, although he was a generous sort, he still didn't want to let people use his laptop too often. I do remember trying. And then eventually I did get a laptop, like I say, but mine was a Windows laptop. We went through several because we'd always buy really cheap ones, so they would end up having issues. And me and my friends would play Quake. No, what was it called? Unreal Tournament 2004, I want to say. And then we would play Combat Evolved, Halo Combat Evolved. A lot of Blood Gulch, because I think we were using the demo. We did have the full game, or at least I did. But I know we only really played Blood Gulch. And I think it's because the demo was so easy to install on every computer you had. And I also remember eventually computers were going from being larger and larger. The laptops were going from being larger and larger to being smaller and smaller, so that you would have a smaller laptop and you could carry it around. And that was kind of the thing that everyone wanted at the time, was a smaller laptop. And then that didn't last forever because they started to get bigger again. I noticed that at some point in time, which was really funny. Because it's crazy how the technology kind of circles like that. It starts off with it getting smaller and smaller, and they're trying to miniaturize technology, and then it gets larger and larger, and it goes in stages. Because I feel like phones were that way for a while as well. You were getting smaller and smaller handheld phones, and they were getting bigger and bigger again. But now, like, it's a little combination of both, it feels like. Like, my current smartphone here has a much larger screen, but I can guarantee that the technology inside of it and the stuff that makes it work is all miniaturized in comparison. I can't find a good way to hold up this instruction booklet, I'm afraid. Pardon me if I pause. I feel like I'm missing stuff. Was there supposed to be something in the back there that I didn't put in? Oh, there was, I guess. I was supposed to put... Oh, I completely missed a page, that's why. Well, that's foolish of me. Let's fix that, shall we? I won't say I'm good at reading instructions, because I'm clearly not. This happens every time we're building a construction set, especially if I'm chatting. Then I'm very good at losing my place. It's okay. We'll get there eventually. And that makes more sense. Anyways, yeah, no, I've always loved technology for this reason. I feel like there's still something missing here. Have I gone mad? Ah, yes, I have. Keep going back to that page I missed, and I should have just gone back to the page I missed and followed the instructions when I got there. But you see, that would have been intelligent, and I've never claimed that. All that to say, now I've spent a lot of time collecting a lot of that technology I never got, although I still haven't been able to get one of those laptops. I did get a hold of an old MacBook, but this one, the one that I got a hold of, is much newer than the one I had. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. One of my favorite laptops that I actually still own is when technology was getting smaller and smaller, there was a point where netbooks were really popular, and it was just when I was coming to the end of high school and about to go into college. Netbooks were really something. A netbook was like it's kind of like a Chromebook now, but they were much smaller, less powerful laptop, but that was really small and really portable. So you could easily carry it in your bag. It was small enough I actually fit it in my large binder to do homework on. It was a really cool form factor, and it actually I still have it, and it stopped working at one point. Specifically, what happened was Sorry, I'll continue talking once I'm smart enough to do this at the same time. I had to continuously plug it in eventually because the battery stopped charging. The battery inside of it was a very small battery and probably very weak by today's standards. The battery died, so I had to keep it plugged in. And of course, the more I plugged it in, eventually the barrel jack, which was the connector it used, the barrel jack broke. It pushed the connector on the board. It snapped off the board inside, so I couldn't charge it anymore. After cobbling it together with wire, pipe cleaners, and things, eventually I just would no longer start up because I couldn't charge. But then, fast forward 10 years, and my brother decided that knowing how much I wanted it, or I had such fond memories of it, he went and ordered me an aftermarket battery for it, which does in fact work. And actually before that, we opened it up and fixed the barrel jack connector. So then we did plug it in and it did work, but it didn't have a battery. So we did do that. And then he bought me a new battery, which was really cool. And it does in fact work now. It does in fact work. I'm not going to go get it because it's kind of piled up, which would have been a great idea to have thought to prepare that ahead of time, but I didn't, because I didn't really know what I was going to be talking about. I should have planned ahead, but I wasn't sure when I opened this if I was going to be chatting or time-lapsing. We'll see. There's a lot of pieces here, so depending on when I build the other ones in this range, we might do a time lapse on that so no one has to listen to me ramble for time. I kind of underestimated how many pieces was in here because, like I say, the ball it's in makes it look like it's going to be small, but it's actually a fairly large kit, 220 pieces. I mean, it's not like a huge kit or anything, but it's large crazy. Also, I guess I'll talk about the price of this thing, and we'll see if how we think it is. The pieces, first off, the pieces feel really good. It's good quality. I mean, it doesn't feel quite as good as Lego, but that's not overly surprising because, you know, Lego is as Lego does. They are top of the line when it comes to these construction sets. But that being said, the stuff is very good. Very good. I also like how accurate they got the color. This is the color of all old computer equipment. This weird beige color was such a common color to use, especially on old Macintoshes, which we did have at one point. Funnily enough, at one point when I was cleaning out my parents' basement, this is years ago now, but I found the boxed copy of Microsoft DOS 3.0. I don't know what happened to that. If I could find it again, I would dig it out. It's just so funny. Oh, man. Yeah, no, now laptops are much larger, I understand, except for netbooks are quite small again. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with laptop form factors. I myself have not owned a laptop. Well, I still have the old ones, but I've not owned a new laptop in quite some time. I did kind of look into them at one point because I was a little bit... did I do it again? I did. Because I was semi-interested in purchasing another laptop. But I didn't, because I kind of got to the point where I realized I don't really need one. I would just be buying it for the purpose of buying it, I guess. And that's not something that you need to do. I already make enough unnecessary purchases for stuff like this. Don't need to be doing much more expensive ones. If I ever do find myself in need of a laptop, then I'll probably buy a cheap one. Try to get one that's does what I need without being overly expensive. But I will admit that I have been curious, and one of the things that I've always wanted to get was I've always been, as is quite clear from what I do by buying so many miniaturized things, I really like things that are miniaturized versions of things. We've talked about this multiple times. I've always been fascinated when you can take something and make a smaller version of it. So there was a thing that I've always wanted to have, but I probably never will, which was the Open Pandora, which was way back now, but it was a handheld laptop and game emulator that looked like a tiny laptop. It had a full keyboard and it folded up. It's really cool. It got discontinued a long time ago, and there was supposed to be a sequel to it coming out, but I don't think it ever did, called the Pyra. If I'm wrong, let me know. If it was ever released, maybe I'll try to find one. But when you go to the website, it still says pre-order now, and I think the website was set up in like 2017 or something like that. But it was such a cool idea. I was always really interested in getting one because I saw the review. Ashens, which is a great channel, he did a review of the Open Pandora when it first was coming out way back when, and the video's still there. It's actually really cool. I still think it's a cool idea and would get one on the secondary market one day. But no, it's really cool. I've always wanted to see if you could get one of those tiny little laptops. You see like scammy ones on Amazon and stuff every now and again, but I have my doubts as to their authenticity. But if they are real, at some point I would love to get a miniature laptop like that, because I think that's just such a cool idea. And I would very much like to do that. I mean, the argument could be made that a Steam Deck or an ROG Ally or the like is effectively a miniaturized laptop, because it kind of is. I guess it's more of a miniaturized computer than it is a laptop, but I would like to get one of those at some point too. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, as much as I would like to get one, I don't think I'll use it. I own a lot of handhelds. I think I showed a couple of them off in a few videos, but I barely play them. I get into the habit of collecting things and never using the things I've collected. That goes like that. Yes, it does. All right, well, she's coming together. Now, one thing I will say about this is, man, does it pick up dust like a magnet? I don't know if that's coming through on the video, but this thing is picking up all the dust that's on this mat, which I actually do need to change out this mat. I love this Pokemon mat, but it's getting real frizzy. Needs to be... Did I just drop another piece of... Oh. That's the miscellaneous piles of Lego that get stuck on here. All right, what's next? Anyways, yeah, I need to clean this. Talking about technology, I've got some really interesting old things that I'd really like to show you guys. I've found some really cool old toys and technology. The problem is some of them I don't really know how to show off in a video. I've been trying to figure out how to show the older technology so you guys can see it. Basically, there's a thing called a Viewmaster, which I'm sure some of my audience knows about, but I've got a lot of different representations of Viewmasters, different types of them, and some different, a bunch of different reels. The problem is I'm not really sure how to show off the reels so that you guys can see them, because I can't really film them. It's an optical illusion that requires, you know, both of your eyes to be able to see it. So I don't really know how I'm going to do that. But if I can figure it out, look forward to that. It should be fun. I won't explain too much about the Viewmasters just because if I ever do a video on them, I'll talk about it then. But I've got a bunch of stuff like that. Got a couple of really old media players that are very of their time and completely useless in today's world, but really cool for younger me. So I'm very excited to show off some of this stuff. It's just a lot of these things are a little bit more difficult to get together than I had thought. I've actually got a few things and other things too. They did some remakes of old toys and stuff that I would like to go over as well at some point. But again, I found some old toys that were remakes of toys that I had when I was, you know, very small. But now I have to find my version of those things from when I was, you know, younger, and that's harder to do because it's all been packed away. And I am a little bit... Oh, wait a second. Am I being dumb? Is there not supposed to be... Okay, there's only supposed to be 2. Not 4. If only I could follow instructions. If only. Yeah, if only I could follow instructions. Sorry if it's a bit shaky here. I'm losing my vertical hold. I'm leaning on the table, and that's kind of a... I just noticed it shaking the... Oh. Sorry, I had to... Sorry, I had to use my teeth to separate the pieces. As I lean on the table, the whole table kind of shakes, which I think is shaking the camera. So, you know, put the vertical hold on. Vertical hold, vertical hold. Does anyone even know what vertical hold is? You'd activate the tracking on your VCR to try to fix the VHS from going up and up. Actually, an interesting thing I found the other day, which I probably won't show off in a video, so we'll just talk about it now. I found a Sega Genesis, and not just any Sega Genesis. I found the original Sega Genesis, the one that has an RF connection only to your TV. Man, it's really cool. I found it at a Value Village the other day. For we know it's about retail. It wasn't retail. I say retail. It was about the average price. It wasn't overpriced, but also wasn't a great deal. How much did I pay for it? I think I paid $50 for with 2 controllers in the game, and I found similar deals on Facebook Market, so I would judge that as being about the right price for it. I did see some better deals, though, so, I probably could have gotten one with a few more games, but that's okay. It came with Sonic, and what I liked about it is that it came with the original Sonic cart that says not for individual sale. So it's the one that would have come with the Genesis when it was released, which is very cool. I myself did not have a Genesis as a boy, but a few of my friends did. And I remember playing games. The games I do need to find, though, is I need to find the Aladdin Genesis game as well as Sonic Spinball. That was a game I played a lot. In fact, I had a elementary school teacher who had a Sega Genesis in the classroom that on certain occasions he would let us play when we had finished our work. And Sonic Spinball was the game that was readily available for us that we played the most. Great game. Great game. I have played it since, of course, on different handhelds and things. I believe it's available on... Back when I had it, Nintendo Online, for a while they had... Actually, I think they still do. Genesis games. So you could... What am I missing here? Am I crazy? It feels like there should be one more. Have I done this incorrectly? No. That. Should there not be one more? If I messed up somewhere along the way, or is there a piece missing? Feels like there should be another 4x2. There should be another flat 4x2 that goes here, if I'm reading this correctly, which I believe I am. Should be, well, maybe, yeah, 1 here. Okay. And then 2, yes, but I only have 1. I'm going to go back and see if I put one in somewhere where there should have been 2 flats. You know what? I bet you I did it here on this lid. Can I get it off? It's going to be difficult, isn't it? We'll give them one thing. They've designed it fairly well. So I can get it apart, but nope, I did do that part correctly. So perhaps it's the other part. Let's see. Let's see if I did this part wrong. Yes, I did. All right. This part is supposed to be 2 of these. There you go. Gonna blame you guys for me getting distracted by talking to you. Nothing to do with my inability to read instructions, which we've already gone over multiple times in this video. No. That can't be it. That cannot be it. Now I feel like I'm missing something, but... Nope, that's correct. We're back to where we were. Okay. There we go. Nice. Nice. Now, where was I? I've forgotten. I'll just have to prevaricate around a different bush. I believe... Oh, yes, I was speaking about my teacher who had a Sega Genesis. Yeah, we played a lot of Spinball, and a cousin of mine had a Genesis with the Aladdin game on it. So we played a lot of that, too. I don't remember getting very far in it. Not that I remember getting very far in Sonic Spinball, either. Probably didn't get much beyond the first or second area. I'm sure, because if we did get much further than that, I think I would have remembered. I have a lot of memories of that first area in Sonic Spinball, but I have very few memories of anything beyond that. Which I think is probably because I wasn't very good at games then. I'm not very good at games now, to be honest. I think the only difference is back then you had a lot more time to play games. So remember, I spent so much time playing games like Final Fantasy VII that I had a oh, excuse me, it's quite dusty in here. At one point, I had a whole binder set up of cheat codes from GameFAQs on how to get a gold chocobo and codes and things for all the different games and walkthroughs and guides on how to get this and that item or finish the game in this and that way. I think it's still at my parents' house, perhaps. I'll have to look at some point and see if I can find it. Like the days of GameFAQs. I don't know if GameFAQs is still a going concern. Honestly, I haven't checked in ages. Now, this is something I'm not super happy with. This doesn't feel very sturdy, but I'm pretty sure I did that correct. Did I not? This feels very flimsy. Because this is not really held together at all. In fact, it is only held on by... Why does that feel so wrong? Did I do this backwards? I'm just going to take a quick look at this again, because I think this does not seem correct to me. Nope, that's how it shows it. But I don't like how that goes together because that feels really, really... Yeah, no, that's just not good. It's not particularly solid construction, we'll put it that way. This could have been done much better. Okay, so it has a little bit of... Okay, so it has some supports on the bottom. Perhaps I was being unkind. Oh, yes, that holds it together. There we go. Okay. All right, I spoke too soon. They knew what they were doing. As we make our computer mouse next. We are coming close to our conclusion. Then I will give my conclusive thoughts. Oh dear, I have to actually make a knot. It's going to be a bit of a pain, isn't it? And I have to do it on both sides, so it's a short one and a long one. Short one will be for the keyboard, and the long one will be for the mouse. For those of you who don't know, computer mice used to use a large rubber ball underneath to move around on the table. That's what this one would have been before there was lasers in the bottom. Laser mice were a luxury. One that many of us did not have. So they were very expensive at the beginning. And then it became optical mouse was kind of the gold standard for a long time. And I think optical mice are sort of the standard now as well. Not really sure about... Oh dear, now I feel like I'm missing another piece. That needs to stop happening. Oh, did I put it on the back? Nope, I did not. Okay. So there should be one more little black piece. It's under the... How am I going to get that out without knocking my camera? Sorry, everybody. I'm going to have to move you for a second. Don't fall down. Don't drop the audience. All right, we have succeeded in not dropping the audience. At least we haven't dropped the audience twice. We did drop you earlier. My apologies for that. Oh, come now. I do have to say that I'm not a big fan of the little knots. It's showing my lack of dexterity. And reminding me of hobbies that can be mildly frustrating. At least this is easier than threading a needle. I don't know if anybody watching this does any sewing, but sometimes threading needles is a pain. I feel like they've probably made a tool for it that I just don't have. All right. I did forget a piece. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? Anyways, this would have been a ball mouse. There we go. Now where does the keyboard attach? Oh. Excellent. And we're done. So, now we will give my thoughts on it. I have thoughts. I know that's strange coming from me. No, it's great. I actually really like it. It was kind of a joy to build. It's not, like I say, it's not as good as straight up authentic Lego, but for a side brand construction set, it's great. And for the price, it was $10, which is great for this many pieces. And for something that looks exactly like it's supposed to, this looks like an old computer. It's so good. It's very, very accurate to what I remember, even with the rounded screen, and the mouse and the keyboard. Oh, it's so good. It's a wonderful representation. Fun to build, not too hard to follow. And the pieces stick together, and this will look great on a shelf with all the others. I'm really excited to make all of them. And once I have all of them, I'll put them all together somewhere and put them on display. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and build some construction toys. Maybe some that make you feel nostalgic. Bye-bye.